Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Kiersten White. She's with the University of Kentucky Extension Plant Pathologist there. Now, today we're going to talk a little bit about tar spot and kind of how it relates to Kentucky.
So I get asked a lot of questions about tar spot. It is a newer disease in Kentucky. We found it for the first time in 2019, but it's been in the US since 2015. And the reason farmers in Kentucky ask a lot of questions about it is because it's a disease that's caused significant yield loss in corn in states to our north. So Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan, occasionally they will report up to 60 bushel an acre yield loss due to this disease. So when we started picking it up in Kentucky over the last few years, it's caused a little bit of concern. And so we're trying to keep track of it and learn a little bit about it here. Actually, all of our findings from 2019 through this year, we've always found tar spot kind of show up in September. So really right as the combines are rolling through the field is when we're starting to get our first detections. And I think that's really good news so far for farmers. You know, it's not coming in early, at least not yet. It hasn't come in early enough to cause any yield loss or any damage to our crop. So finding it is good because then we can track it and keep have some good awareness of where it is and what it might be doing.
When I think about the name tar spot, I'm thinking about a black sticky spot. Is that the way the disease presents?
Yes, I mean, it's a pretty accurate name. And it's just going to be these very small black spots on the leaves, occasionally on the leaf sheaths, and they're going to feel kind of bumpy to the touch. So they'll be raised on the leaf surface. And if you run your finger along that leaf surface, you'll feel some black bumps. I always point out there's a lot of other stuff that causes black spots on leaves. And so if you ever think that you might have tar spot in your field, it's really important to grab those samples, take them into your county agent, and that we can get those off to the diagnostic lab where we can look under the microscope to determine if it is tar spot. This is a fungal disease, so it's going to infect plants, and we do think it'll probably survive our Kentucky winters. But what we have found is that our climate in Kentucky has not been really conducive for this disease. So we know that the fungus is out there throughout most of the growing season. We have some research where we do some spore trapping and try to monitor the movement of the fungus. But we know that it's not just having the fungus there, we have to have the right environmental conditions for disease to occur. And this fungus likes it a little bit cooler. It likes optimum temperatures of, 60 to low 70s for infections. And that's probably why we're starting to see it come in September, is once things start cooling down, it's a little bit more conducive for that fungus to infect.
For next year, is there a certain time that we should scout or we should start looking for the possibility of tar spot being there?
Well, we advocate scouting corn, throughout the growing season just to see what's there, right? So it's not just tar spot. We have other diseases we want to manage too. One thing that I think is really good for farmers in Kentucky to keep in mind is that most of us are already going to be keeping an eye out for diseases like gray leaf spot. And we're going to be really thinking about southern rust because that's an annual concern in our state. And the good news is that the management practices we use for gray leaf spot and southern rust also work on tar spot. And so if you're using a foliar fungicide to manage those diseases around tasseling, that's also the optimum management for tar spot. So by managing your other diseases, you are also managing tar spot. And that could be another reason why we don't see it show up until the very end of the season, is because a lot of corn is already protected against this fungus in our state. So anyone can go to the Kentucky Pest Newsletter, kentuckypestnews.org, and you can find the information that we have that's specific to Kentucky for tar spot. But you can also go to the cropprotectionnetwork.org, and there's a broad range of resources from what is nationally available on tar spot. So lots of information out there. The Kentucky specific information is going to be Kentucky Pest News.
And if you have questions, or if you want to get a subscription to Kentucky Pest News, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.